So hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So in this video I will be explaining this problem, maximum score from performing multiplication operations. So this is a pretty easy problem from dynamic programming. So in this video I will tell you how to identify dynamic programming problems in general, and then how do we solve this problem. Okay, so in this video first I will be discussing the problem, then we will be developing our approach, and then I will code it. Okay, so the problem is basically saying that I have been given two arrays. One is the nums array and one is the multipliers array. So at each we have we have been given certain number of operations. So these are the number of operations, the size of multipliers. So and in each operation you can choose either the first character or the last element of this array, and then multiply it with the current operation multiplier. So if it is your first operation, you have to choose one character either from the start or the end and multiply it with -10. Then in your second operation you have to multiply that any character from the start or the end with -5, and so on, and so on. The size of this nums array will keep on decreasing. Okay, so one thing I want you to say is that to identify a problem, that it is a dynamic programming problem or not, what you have to do is that first you have to identify that am I being given some number of choices, and is there any optimization. So if this is the combination, that is choices plus optimization, then you should think about dynamic programming. Okay, so in this problem, what are my choices? My choices are that I can choose either the first element of the array or the last element of the array, then again first one or the last one. And what is the optimization? The optimization part is that I have to choose these arrays, these elements, such that the output is maximum. Okay, so I have to maximize this, so this is the optimization. So how to solve any dynamic programming problem is to that you should always write the recursive code and then memorize it. Okay, so in this video I will be coding and explaining the code simultaneously. So let's code it. So just 1 second. Okay, yes, now it is fine. 1 second. Okay, so first of all I will be just writing int n is equal to nums dot size and int m is equal to multipliers dot size. Multipliers dot size, because like this. And then what I will be doing, that I will be making one integer, actually two integers. Int l is equal to 0, int r is equal to n minus 1, and int index is equal to 0. So what these mean, that L will be the left side of the nums and R will be the right end of the nums, and I will keep on increasing and decreasing in the subsequent recursive calls. And index will be the pointer. So index will be the pointer to the multipliers array, so it will keep on going ahead. Okay, so these are the three parameters that I have made. Now I will make a recursive function. Okay, return solve. Okay, and I will pass these parameters nums, multipliers, and l comma r comma index. Okay, and now I will just write this recursive function int solve. I will just copy this thing, control C, control V, comma int l comma int r comma int index. Okay, fair enough. So now what I have to do is, what will be my base condition. Okay, so my base condition will be basically when my number of operations are over. Okay, so in the question it is given to me that the number of operations m is always going to be the less than the size of the nums array. Okay, so my base condition is going to be, suppose if my operations are over, if index is, okay, just let me copy this, control C, control V. Okay, so if index is greater than or equal to m, then return 0. So basically what this means is that if your number of operations are 0, then you will have to return 0. Okay, now I have to take this multiplier. So suppose let the current multiplier be x, and let it be what, multipliers index. Okay, so this is going to be the current multiplier. So to solve any dynamic programming problem, we have to do the recursive part. So any recursive part can be divided into two parts. The first part is the base condition, base condition, and the second part is the choices. Okay, so you can, by doing these two things, you have to build the recursive, any recursive function. Okay, so what are my choices? My choices will be return 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 maximum of what? Return maximum of, either I can choose the left side, nums l into x, and then I can carry on with my further recursive call. So the my further, if I choose the left one, then my further recursive call will be nums multipliers, and since I have chosen the left one, my left index will increase and the right one will stay the same, and index plus one, index will always increase. That is the basically the number of operations I'm doing. And then what I will do is that nums are into, if I decide to choose the nums r1, then I will do nums r into x plus solve what? Nums are just this will be basically same, except for one thing, that is nums l will be same in this case, and in this case r minus 1. Okay, because the size of the nums array will reduce. Okay, since I have chosen the right one. So this is pretty much it. So that's how we write the recursive code. So let's test this recursive code. So this will certainly give me time limit exceeded. Okay, just if I get TLE. Okay, so TLE is, so this is a good sign, because because since I am solving in, what is the meaning of dynamic programming? Dynamic programming, we have to reduce the sub problems that we are solving repeatedly. Okay, so in this we are solving these problems repeatedly. So I will to optimize my code, I will make a what I will make a dp vect matrix, so that will store the sub problems. So how do we make a dp matrix? So in this problem, so to make any dp matrix, you have to choose the number of parameters that are varying. So in this problem, see, nums is not varying, multipliers is not varying, l is varying, r is varying, and index is varying. But r is not actually varying, r is not independent, r is kind of dependent on left and index. So I don't have to make a 3D DP, I will make a 2D DP, because in reality only L and index are varying, R is kind of dependent on index and L. So I will make a 2D DP. So let's make that 2D DP vector of vector int. So you know what, if you have written the recursive code, then it's just a game of a snap, like Thanos, to memorize it further. So vector of vector int dp, and now I will just assign this dp dot assign. So since the number of operations can be around 1000, so I will just assign this dp as 1000 size, or we can just write m plus 1, so the size of the number of multi operations, and vector of vector int what, m plus 1 minus 1. So in this way I have initialized my dp with -1 at every place. Now what I will do is that I will store my sub problems. So my sub problems will be what? dp index comma l. So since the two parameters that are varying are only l and index, you can choose r also, it doesn't matter, but then you will have to face some problem assigning here. So let's choose L as our second parameter. So now in this way what I'm doing is that I'm storing the result of that sub problem in my dp matrix. So now what I have to do is that the memorization part. So I will check if dp index L, dp index L is not equal to -1, that is basically I have already solved this sub problems, then I will return dp of index L. Okay, so that's it. So let's check this out. Okay, it is running, pending, it is finished, it seems good. Now let's submit it. It is accepted. So it is a pretty easy problem. If you know how to solve dynamic programming problems, you just have to take into consideration the base condition, the choices that you have in your life. Okay, you have to take the correct choices, and then you, after you write the recursive code, the game is over. You just have to see the parameters that are actually varying, and then you have to memorize it. So you guys, if this problem is clear to you, please consider subscribing the channel, and I will be making videos in English, so you can subscribe the channel. So thank you and have a nice day.